You ever see a grown man's whole world tilt in a split second? That's exactly what happened at Gate C-42 in Atlanta, the day my life scratched that. My family's life got flipped upside down, all because someone in uniform forgot to treat my daughter like a person, not a problem. The slap, when it landed on Jasmine's cheek, echoed loud enough to slice through all that airport noise announcements. Rolling suitcases, folks arguing with airlines about misconnections, and it cut right through me too. You know what I mean? That kind of moment sticks with you, burns itself into your memory. I watched my 16-year-old, all bright eyes and hopes for New York, stand there stunned, while the gate agent who did it, Patricia Holloway, I'll never forget the name, stared back with her own face twisted up in anger, and underneath it, something uglier. The truth is, none of us woke up that morning thinking this would be the story. If you'd asked me when my alarm chimed at 5:30, I would have told you I was just another overworked airline CEO, a father who missed too many of his daughter's soccer games, trying to make it up with a father-daughter trip to see Hamilton on Broadway. Yeah, I'd planned every detail: first-class seats, luxury hotel, reservations at her favorite places. You know, the kind of stuff you hope says, I'm here, I care, I'm trying, even if you're late more often than not. Jasmine, for her part, has learned to carry disappointment like a second backpack. She's brilliant, trust me. I'm not just saying that as her dad, already thinking about colleges, already quietly bracing for another. I'm sorry, honey, something came up at work. Her mother, Diane, is a force of nature, two-top defense attorney, always reminding me to be present, to pay attention. She said it plain that morning. You both need this trip, Marcus. She was right. And for a while, things went smooth. Board meetings, investor drama, operational headaches, none of it could pull me away. I made it to her school on time, watched her walk out with her friend, saw her eyes light up when she realized I actually kept my word for once. There was even a little hiccup, a regulatory mess at the maintenance hangar, but I handled it, kept my promise, hustled her through the employee entrance straight to our gate. I thought, finally, we'd outrun the usual chaos. Except, you can't outrun what you don't see coming. When we got to the gate, Patricia was already running hot, just finishing with some other passenger. She barely glanced up, barked at us to wait, didn't care who I was or who Jasmine was. That's fine, I told myself. I built Meridian Airlines so everyone gets treated right, not just the VIPs. But Jasmine, being 16 and tired and ready for her big night, asked why first class wasn't boarding yet. Patricia shot her down sharp, cold, dismissive. It stung me, but Jasmine? I saw the flicker of hurt in her eyes. I almost stepped in, but I figured, let's not make a scene. That's always the calculation for black families, right? Don't escalate. Don't give anyone an excuse to say you're the problem. Anyway, we made it to New York, saw the show, laughed, cried, talked more than we had in months. I felt for the first time in a long while like maybe I was getting this dad thing right. Jasmine even joked about becoming an engineer like me. We took pictures, shared stories, made promises for more trips: Chicago, San Francisco, wherever she wanted. For a moment, the world felt wide open again. Coming home, though, that's when things unraveled. Same gate agent, same tight smile. Jasmine left her phone in the lounge, so we doubled back, made it in time. But in the shuffle of boarding, we got separated. Jasmine tried to move back toward me, got caught in the flow of people, bumped a businessman, spilled his coffee, got a sharp word for it. Patricia saw her moving against the crowd, decided she was being disruptive. She raised her voice. Jasmine tried to explain, but it didn't matter. I saw Patricia step from behind the counter, eyes flashing. Next thing I knew, she reached out, maybe to guide, maybe to grab, maybe just to assert control, and Jasmine, who's been taught all her life to flinch away from strangers grabbing her, pulled back. Patricia reacted without thinking. The slap was fast, vicious, the kind you feel in your bones. People gasped, phones came out, security hesitated. My instincts as a father and, as a black man, warred with my instincts as a CEO. But the moment Patricia realized who I was, when I slid my business card across the counter and her eyes read, Marcus Williams, CEO, Meridian Airlines, her whole demeanor changed. Suddenly, she was sorry. Suddenly, she wanted to handle it privately. But here's the truth, and I said it right there in front of everyone. It shouldn't matter who I am or who my daughter is. No one deserves to be treated this way. The rest was a blur. Security got involved. Passengers backed us up, especially the businessman whose coffee Jasmine had spilled, funny enough. Patricia's mask of professionalism crumbled. Diane was waiting for us in Atlanta, having seen the videos already blowing up online. By the time we landed, Meridian assault was trending, and I knew the board was going to want blood, or at least a press release. You want a twist? Here's one. Jasmine, who could have withdrawn, instead started talking about using her voice TikTok, Instagram, maybe even a series about bias and microaggressions, so other girls wouldn't feel so alone. My wife, as always, found the teachable moment. And me? I realized I could either manage this like another corporate PR crisis or use it as the moment we stopped dancing around the issue. The board, predictably, was all about damage control. Some wanted to call it an isolated incident. Others said not to mention race too divisive, too risky. But I looked around that table, saw the fear and the calculation, and said what needed saying. This wasn't just one bad employee on a bad day. This was about the unconscious biases that affect how we see and treat black girls in America. And if Meridian really stands for respect, dignity, inclusion, we have to start living those values, not just printing them on a website. We fired Patricia. We launched new training. We brought in independent reviewers. We created a chief customer advocate role, so passenger complaints don't get lost in corporate shuffle. And I stood in front of reporters, looked straight at the cameras, and said the words that so many companies avoid. We must acknowledge the role that implicit bias played in this incident. We will do better. Standing there with Diane and Jasmine after the press conference, I knew the world wouldn't change overnight. But I also knew something fundamental had shifted in my company, in my family, maybe even in me. Jasmine squeezed my hand and said, "You did good, Dad." I looked at her, at Diane, at all the years ahead, and said, "We did good. Together." So, tell me, what would you have done if you'd seen that slap? How do you react when bias rears its head not just against you, but anyone? Share your story. Speak up, because real change, real justice starts with one person refusing to let things slide, even when it would be easier. And if this story hit home for you, subscribe, leave a comment, join the conversation. Let's build something better, one story at a time.